Hi, hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the OET Reading Module, the tips and trips to crack OET Reading Module. And as I've already discussed about OET and the different modules available, I skip the part and then straight away we are moving on to the reading module. Okay, what is reading module is all about? What is the difference between normal reading module of IELTS and the OET? See, in OET reading module, you will be given some healthcare academic text to read and be asked to answer some questions based on what you have read. But when it comes to IELTS, it is entirely different because you will be given any text, any academic text, which is not related to healthcare. So there is an added advantage of taking OET reading because you get questions from the known area, that is your own area. So it is a very good deal, isn't it? It is a very good deal because you are going to answer only things or the questions which you know very well from your own context. So it is ideal. So what will be there in OET reading? See, there are three parts of OET reading: part A, part B, part C. And I'll discuss about the number of questions and then the variety of questions available in each part. Part A, there are 20 questions. Part B, there are 6 questions. Part C, there are 16 questions. Altogether, it is 42 questions. You have 1 hour to crack this reading module. But part A is actually collected. The question paper will be collected after 15 minutes. So you have 20 questions to be cracked in 15 minutes. So it means you have around 45 seconds for each question to crack. So it is going to be a nightmare. But it is not a nightmare because the types of questions asked are very easy. 20 questions. See, you have 3 different categories. First 7 questions are actually matching questions, and the next 8 to 14 actually they are like WH question or fill in the blank. And in the same way, 15 to 20 is also fill in the blank or WH question. So you have only 3 different types of questions. Number 1 is matching. Number 2 is WH question. Number 3 is fill in the blank. So how are you going to do? You have, for example, you will be given 4 different texts taken from 4 different areas or talking about 4 different varieties of medical professional related topics, and you have 20 questions based on all these 4. So how the matching will be done? See, part in that there will be in part A, text B, text C, text D will be there. You have 7 questions. You have to match it. Just go to the question, read the question and match it. So here you don't have time to answer. You don't have too much time to actually do any kind of what to say reading. So only thing that you can do is you just use some reading strategies that are like skimming, scanning techniques. Skimming technique is nothing but reading the headlines, headings, subheadings, bullet points, footnotes, all that. This is the way you can answer, or else scanning questions will be answered looking for the keywords. See, what is the name of the hospital? You just only look for the name of the hospital. What is the medication given for heart attack? You just look for the word heart attack and the medication related to that. So absolutely you don't have any time to read all the questions and understand. These questions are not to be read and understand completely to answer, because these are matching, fill in the blank, WH questions. So these are easy to crack. If you can actually crack it within the limited period of time given to you, it is easy that you can score well. And this is the strategy you have to use. Whenever you're using it, you will be very successful. So this is one thing you have to keep in mind. And part B, there are 6 questions that are like multiple choice questions. Each one will have, for example, I'll show you how the part A will be. Part A to D, text A, D, A, B, C, D. You have to see these are the texts, different texts, 4 different texts are there, and the questions are there. You will be checking out all these things and answer, match it and answer. Right. Then we come to the next part. This is called the part B. Here you will have questions, and the questions can be answered from the text which is just below there. You don't have to search for anywhere else. You will search only for this. And the technique used is all the answers seeming to be correct, correct, looks similar to one. All these will look similar to one another. So what are you supposed to do? You have to read, look for the keywords, and these questions are supposed to be read, understood completely, and analytical knowledge and critical thinking, everything is involved. You have to read the question, look at each answer possible, and then answer. Sometimes when you just read the first option A, and there may be the option available in the text. So you may be blindly fixing answer A as your answer, but there would be answer B and C, which you have to check whether these are related to the question or not, in what way, how closely this answer is there. So the closeness of the answer should be checked, looking at the keywords, looking at the probabilities and possibilities, and the 100% correctness of the answer is very, very important. This is one of the skills which you must be able to understand. And when we move on to part C, in part C, there are actually 16 questions. There will be two different texts like essays will be there, and out of which 8 questions will be asked. From there, 8 questions, two sets of questions, okay, two sets of text. Okay, part C, question A, question B, eight questions each, altogether 60. Here, you will have the text first, complete text, unlike part B. Here you have to go back to the pages and then come back to the reading and answer. So this will be like this. So there will be eight questions on each of these, and you may have to answer them. You may have to answer them. That will be very important. And in order to answer these things, okay, you have to be very clear about the correcting the answer. See, sometimes there may be answer in the heading of the text. There may be answers which are closely related after linking words. Consequently, okay, whereas, however, although, even though, these are some clue words. Whenever you see some clue words such as this, you may have to check the correctness of the meaning and also the questions. Reading the question and checking it closely and see all the answers. See, you have 3 options, A, B, C, and D here, unlike part B. In part B, you have 3 options. Here, there are 4 options, if I'm not wrong. So 4 options, out of 4 options, you have to pick up which one is the right answer. So keyword selection and understanding the keyword, checking the keyword is very, very important in OET reading. If you are not, it is not possible. And what is the best technique to improve your reading score? You have to read a lot, read some academic tests generally for understanding some specific purposes, understanding details, everything. If you have the habit of reading some newspapers, some academic journals, and some other texts from academic background, it will be very helpful. If you don't have the habit of reading, you will not be able to crack this test successfully, because you have to score 32 out of 42 to pass listening, reading, and all. So, what is the probability of scoring? Out of 20 in part A, you must be able to score 18 or 19. So, in part B, if you score 4 or 5, 22 or 23 will come. So, it is easy. If you score 22 or 23, you have to score 9 or 10 out of 16 questions which comes in part C. So you have to be very calculative. If you are really very good enough to score 20 out of 20, you have the maximum possibility of passing reading. If not, what happens is you have the least possibility of passing reading, because you might be making some mistakes in part B and C. You cannot afford to pass. So the maximum you score in part A and B is giving you the leverage of scoring less in part C, which is one of the toughest sections of reading. So this is one thing you have to keep in mind. So in the forthcoming classes and all, I'll be giving you other tips to crack IELTS reading and OET reading. That's it. Thank you very much. All the best for your preparation.